Hi everybody, Laura here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have a couple of very colorful butterfly floral projects to share with you using some new products from the latest February release with Waffle Flower. I'm going to be featuring the Butterfly Blossom Texture Die, and it kind of coordinates with these other products, the Butterfly Blossom Die. So these are like individuals that kind of fit on that cover die. And then you have the Butterfly Blossom layering stencil. This is 5 stencils that you can layer up and color in the Butterfly Blossom die. Okay, so I'm going to start by die cutting first. You can blend first, die cut first, whichever you want. I'm going to die cut it into a panel of Hammermill white cardstock, and there you have it. And then now I'm going to blend to add the color. So I'm sticking this down on, this is my largest Waffle Flower tacky mat. The stencils are numbered. I'm using the first one out of the 5. You don't have to go in order, but I'm starting with 1. Okay, so laying this down, lining it up, which is the first stencil is all the blooms. Okay, and I'm going to be using a variety of Concord 9th inks and my Simon Says Stamp blender brushes, and I'm going to just get the blend in. I'm going to do a lot of kind of two-tone, so I'm starting with this first stencil, all Honeysuckle, just a light wash of this kind of pinky shade, not going very heavy-handed, just a light wash. And then before I take the stencil off, I'm going to pull out Dragonfruit, and I'm going to give it a little pop over on the side. And this is what you call gradient love. I don't know. I just think it looks good. I just think it wakes it up. Okay, take off stencil 1. See that kind of two-tone gradient love? Okay, stencil 2 is the other bunch of flowers. So same thing, going over lightly the whole shebang with grapefruit ink. And that's what I'm doing. Then I'm going to pull out, can't remember what I pulled out, but I think it's poppy. And you wouldn't think poppy with grapefruit, but I like it. I don't know. I did a few trial runs before because to me it's all about color. It's all about finding the colors that work together to make the happiest result and just make you feel good. Sometimes I do color combinations and I'm like, it's okay, but like I'm not, it's not A+, it's kind of like a B-. And then I got to start over because it will haunt me. And then this one here, I finally was happy with it. I love the grapefruit poppy mixture with that honeysuckle dragonfruit. I think the two look dynamite together. Now, this I think is the last stencil, but it's the leaves and the centers of the blooms. Okay, so for the leaves, I'm doing just a classic green, Parsley, and I pulled out the smaller Concord 9th brush, and I'm trying to give a little bit darker along the base of the leaf and fading it out lighter. I end up pulling out Evergreen. I think it's Evergreen, the dark green shade, and giving that a little pop because sometimes you just need to wake it up. Okay, so yeah, here's the Evergreen, and I'm going to give it just a little smidge at the base, and it just amps up that volume. Now for the centers of the blooms, there's a lot of different things you can do. You can make them all black. There's die cuts. There's a separate die cut set, the Butterfly Blossom die. You could die cut the centers, which I do on my second card. But for this one, I wanted to keep it sort of tone on tone. So I pulled out Wildberry for those pink blooms. I also switched over to the Waffle Flower, the round detail brushes. These are my fave for getting in small little nooks and crannies. I have a mug that I keep all the little Waffle Flower detail brushes, and I keep those. I have one of those Rascog carts, and the top shelf is all my blending tools, and I have an array. Got the Concord 9th brushes, Simon Says Stamp brushes. I got Waffle Flower brushes. Got, yeah, and a bunch of scissors. Anybody else have far too many scissors? Like you really only need 1 or 2. But you have 20. I don't know what it is. Okay, now we're going to blend the butterflies. And starting with Buttercup, I'm going to do a few of these in a light yellow color and a few butterflies in a light aqua color. Okay, so giving a light wash, not too heavy, covering the whole area, but I don't want to get too intense. You know what I mean? Trying to do that in life too. not get too intense. Boy, these are intense times. Do you feel it? And I started listening to the Eagles on my Spotify. You know that song, Take It Easy, Take It Easy. And that's like my theme song this month. It's just take it easy, Laura, because it's just intense times. And you got to just remember to breathe and take it easy. Okay, for the detail on the butterfly. Sorry, I got on a tangent there. I pulled out the Buttercup again. Buttercup on Buttercup. And it'll give that little bit of detail, but not smack you over the head. Speaking of smack you over the head, I've been doing a lot of volunteering at the hockey rinks where we have to do so many volunteer hours. And I've been working the penalty box / the music. So every time the puck stops, like there's a stop and play, you got to play music. And then you got to stop it as soon as they drop the puck. So I have developed a playlist of, real pumping, hockey loving songs. And that's probably how I got into the Eagles. Somehow, a lot of times the refs will skate over and they're like, please play a lot of 80s rock. Don't do too much Taylor Swift. Refs are very opinionated. Anywho, so I've developed a little hockey penalty box playlist. That's probably what got me onto the Eagles and the 80s music. And it brought back my love. I love all genres. Anywho, okay, so just about finished blending this. I added a little Tidepool to those sea glass butterflies, and this is finished. Look how colorful this turned out. And just with blending the inks. So the first card is all blending. The second card I'm going to do all die cutting. I added a bunch of 3D foam squares, popping this up on a white card base, and then we'll add a sentiment. For the sentiment, I'm pulling out a new set. Oh, also, I was going to use the butterfly blossom die and add a few matte gold little butterfly bodies. Do you call them bodies? Anyway, the center part of the butterfly. I'm doing those out of matte gold because I didn't want to introduce another color. I didn't really want to do black, so I did matte gold. And you probably could leave this out too, but it adds just a little glimmer, little shimmer. And then, okay, so this is the new Paper Hugs Sentiment stamp set, and I'm going to emboss the sentiment in white on a little scrap of Tidepool cardstock. So I prepped it with a powder bag, inking up with Versamark ink, going to stamp that, pour on some Simon Says Stamp white embossing powder, and then heat that with a heat gun. You know what? One of these days I'm going to buy myself a tub. I don't know why I haven't done it sooner. Because every time I am spilling the embossing powder everywhere. And I don't know. Yeah, moving on. Using the coordinating die to cut out that embossed sentiment. Take it off camera. Run it through the die cut machine. Add a little foam tape to that and pop it up right in the center. I love this sentiment. Hugs for today and love for always. Such a heartfelt card. I love the colors, how they turned out, the butterflies and the blooms. Now I'm going to do a die cut heavy one. Same process, same products. This time I die cut that background panel out of, I believe this is Peacock Concord 9th cardstock. And I'm going to adhere this just with tape runner. I'm not going to pop it up. So this one's going to be a little bit flatter and a little bit tape runner here and there, not too heavy. And then adhere this onto another white card base. And then I'm going to take that butterfly blossom die and die cut all the little shapes and pieces and whatnot out of more scraps of Concord 9th cardstock. And I was thinking in my mind, I was trying to do it in rainbow order because that's the way I roll. And so you got to kind of think. And I will say that all these little pieces, the sizes, don't fit perfectly, but you kind of, after a while, you just roll with it. It doesn't have to fit perfect, but it kind of, it's like a little puzzle piece. So I'm going to glue these all on. I'm using Barely Art glue, just a little dab, and then I pop down the colored die cut. So you can see here as I started with yellow, and then I work my way into the oranges, corals, reds, and then on down into the pinks. I didn't get into the greens and the blues and the purples, but it's kind of a warm tone vibe. Okay, so as you can see, it doesn't all fit perfect, but I stopped trying at some point. And you could also pop these up if you want to, use foam tape. And so here we have, I'm not even going to try to remember all these colors. I know that one's Honeysuckle, but I have the color chart, the Concord 9th solid color cardstock color chart, and I have it laminated. I keep it on the side here, and that's how I always remember kind of the rainbow order. And there you have it, just about all of these. I went ahead and die cut the center of the blooms and the butterfly bodies, again, out of that matte gold. And that gives a nice little shimmer. I feel like it makes it classy somehow, And that's really what it's all about, trying to be classy and not trashy, Okay. Star of the show is the place and score embellishment wand. I don't know how I ever lived without a little wand. I went ahead and embossed another sentiment from that Paper Hugs stamp set. This time I embossed in white on black. Use the coordinating die. So here's the big question. Which one do you like better? The blended one or the die cut one? I'm not sure. I don't know. Sometimes I think I like the die cut. I don't know. I like the cleanness of it. But the blended one, that tickles my fancy too. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.